trip to California for tomorrow night. A fundraiser there is now in question. The campaign says they will review those plans in the morning. Let's talk about all of this now with Jay Chabria, a Republican strategist, the managing director of Mercury LLC, and the former senior advisor to Governor John Kasich. And Jessica Ehrlich is here, a former Democratic congressional candidate. Good to see both of you. So, Jessica, good afternoon. I'll start with you with this new information we have on Mrs. Clinton's health. I mean, she has pneumonia. Have we now moved past, Jessica, just critics being suspicious of Hillary Clinton's health, or, have we reached a critical moment when Mrs. Clinton needs to release detailed medical records?
Well, she actually already has released very detailed medical records, especially compared to those of Donald Trump. His medical letter was, typical Trumpian in terms of the greatness of his health. But, getting a pneumonia is something that, given her rigorous schedule that she's been carrying on, she's now had reporters with her that have been saying, she's been going from, early in the morning till after 11 o'clock every day, every of the week for months and months now, and it takes a toll on anyone. So, especially as someone who's run for office and been out there, I've had pneumonia myself before, you're shaking a lot of hands. You're on planes constantly, and you're just going to be exposed to colds and germs. Well, but I don't think that calls into question someone's overall health.
Well, Jessica, I mean, you talk about the rigors of campaigning, so imagine how that's going to be escalated times 50 if Hillary Clinton should become the president. So I think the Americans do want to make sure that whoever is going to be the next commander-in-chief is healthy. I'm going to get back to you because I know you have more to say, but let me bring in Jane. Speaking of the medical records, you're talking about this 2-page letter that I have here from Hillary Clinton's doctor, and I know that you are referring to Mr. Trump's doctor, kind of issuing a couple of paragraphs saying he's the healthiest guy in the world. I know what you're talking about. But Jay, let me bring you into this conversation. While Mr. Trump has not publicly displayed any instances that would raise issues of his health, however, he too is running for the president. And the public needs to know the full scope of Mr. Trump's health as well. So especially in light of what's happening, and I think we probably will hear more from Hillary Clinton's doctors. I'm sure people will demand to hear more. So with that possibly going to be on the table, will we see Donald Trump release complete medical records?
Well, I doubt he'll release complete medical records. I don't think that's the way Trump does things. The problem that Hillary's got today...
Hold on. Wait. You can't just skip over that.
I'm not a Trump supporter necessarily.
Trump does things, but Trump is running for president, and that's the way people running for president do things.
Well, I absolutely think he should release more complete medical records. I think he should release his tax returns, too. So I'm in that camp where we need more transparency in this presidential campaign.
Okay, so you feel like he's going to release them?
No, I don't think he will release them. I think he should. Right, I think he should.
But
yes.
He may not. All right, let me move on. Let me go to Chris Stirewalt. We have some sound from him. Chris Stirewalt, by the way, is our Fox News Channel's digital politics editor, and he is speaking on how this new news may impact the race. This news. Check it out.
I think that this is something that will change the trajectory of the race. The video is jarring. I think that this will overtake the basket of deplorables business that Hillary Clinton would probably rather be spending the week talking about, or the beginning of the week talking about, instead of her health.
Chris Stirewalt might be onto something there, Jessica. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he's wrong there. I mean, sadly, for me, especially as someone who lived in Lower Manhattan on September 11th, it's difficult that we're having this discussion at all on this day when we really should be talking about more solemn issues. I'm actually pleased for once that we haven't seen any of the sort of typical tweets from Mr. Trump that we usually would on this day, because it is such an important moment for our country. But in the days that follow, I think for sure we will see this continue to play out, whether for good or ill. There's a very fine line. I think, both candidates need to have equal transparency, as Jay said, in terms of what the status of their health is. But no medical professional is infallible. There is no way of knowing that yet. I mean, there's so many things that can befall any human being in the 4 years of their term as president. And I don't know that this really will play into, any of Hillary Hillary Clinton supporters' support of her going forward, but it certainly gives a lot of media time to speculate. And
Well,
you can't
I mean,
really,
Jessica, let me just jump in. No,
required
one second, because it's not just the media speculating. I mean, Hillary Clinton is running for the president of the United States, not for the president of the United Media. So people want to know, and let me just also be clear that I personally, Eric, and other anchors here on Fox News have said, politics aside, of course we wish Mrs. Clinton well. I mean, we're all people here. So now getting back to the conversation, Jessica, you know, we've got 58 days left. I mean, might this cause concern behind the scenes among the Democratic operatives, wondering if Mrs. Clinton can get over the pneumonia, remain healthy, and not only for the remainder of the race, but also for a potential job that may be at hand, and also the upcoming debates just 2 weeks away?
Well, you know, absolutely. And I think in terms of, she does really rigorous preparation for the debates. I think she is going to have to, for sure, change her schedule between now and those times, because the debates are going to be the most watched thing. I mean, I think the ratings will, you know, be stronger than the Super Bowl, because everyone in the country is going to be glued to them, and she needs to be on top of her game. And certainly, I mean, pneumonia is exhausting. It just drains you completely. So she's got to rest.
I got to give you the last word here, because I started with Jessica. So what's going to happen? How is this going to play out? I mean, do you think this is going to be more than just Mrs. Clinton has pneumonia and she's dehydrated and they're just going to let this pass? I mean, what's going to happen from now? How is this going to change this race and the tone and the talk of this race, if you will?
Well, the risk to the Hillary campaign is this starts to mainstream some of those conspiracy theories. She's got to keep this amongst the chatter amongst the Trump base and not go into the disaffected Republicans and those independents that she's trying to win over. I actually happen to think basket of deplorables is a bigger issue for her, because that cuts against one of her biggest arguments against Donald Trump. Donald Trump's big weakness amongst those suburban women is that they're just not comfortable with some of his divisive rhetoric. This kind of muddies the waters for the Donald Trump campaign, which is great for them. And now they can say both candidates are the same. That, to me, is a bigger long-term impact, because it takes one of her big arguments off the table.
I leave it there. Jay Chabria, Jessica Ehrlich, thank you very much for being with us here on this Sunday afternoon.
Thank you.
Take care.